Say welcome everyone to the 19th API Abstract Photography International Forum, our last one of 2023. It's been an awesome year. I mean, we've had I'm really enjoying what we're doing here, and a lot of people can't make it today, but it's great that people can get together anytime, and it's only going to get busier between now and the holidays. And yeah, as I was saying before, with this Secret Santa format, basically we're following our earlier format of appreciating different members' files, but this one, everyone gets a Secret Santa's profile that they are going to look at, that they've looked at and chosen a few favorite images to talk about. And then we'll have discussion from there. I've booked the time for 3 hours, but by no means are we compelled to fill it. I didn't know how many people were going to do it, so we don't have to go 3 hours by any means, but we're just going to go with the flow, try and land it maybe around 2 hours, and if there's discussion, we'll continue. So without further ado, everyone knows about the chat as well. Feel free to talk in the chat, and also, if anything comes up in the chat that I don't notice, please just mention it, because I can't, sometimes I'm busy keeping my eyes on a lot of different things. So next, I will share my screen. There we go. And I think it's this one here. There. Can you see abstract photo zoomers?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. This is our hashtag, which I'm loving, is just slowly getting populated by lots of great photography from our group. If you're not using this hashtag, by the way, and you're in this group, feel free to include it in your tags, because it's kind of a catch-all for everyone in this group. We started as the abstract photo zoomers, and so the hashtag kind of stuck. Oh, I'm already seeing some people's favorite photos in here. Okay. So let's get started. Here's my first one. There we go. So I believe this is Ron's Secret Santa.
It is. Yeah.
All right. Reveal yourself, Ron.
Well, just first of all, one of the most fun parts of this project was, looking at Muriel's work. She has so much good stuff, and it was really, really hard to pick just a couple.
Thanks, Ron.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. And so this of the ones I picked, this one was my favorite. Like many of the things that Muriel does, it's fairly monochromatic, and yet it has a whole lot of power. And I see that, I mean, it looks almost like it's carved in stone. I don't know if that is stone or what, but it just kind of looks like something carved in stone. And you see kind of these legs and sort of this androgynous figure, or the bottom part of that figure. But as I looked at it more and more, I see kind of the hunched over the back, and then the head, down, facing down, and maybe in one arm carrying a shield. There's just so much to see here. And down towards the bottom, there's that little black on both sides. It seems like it's repeated, these little black, I don't know what you call them, not commas, but something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Muriel's work, again, there's a lot of it that's kind of monochromatic, but every once in a while there'll be something that's just this little bit of red, or just this little bit of some other color, and it adds power because of that. It's really because of the rest of it being relatively monochromatic. It just really has more weight than it otherwise would. So yeah, I think this is something that, yeah, is kind of worth framing, because I think looking at this, I would never get tired of it. You know, it's really a wonderful piece. I like the folds, you know, again, it feels like it's stone, carved in stone, but then it has these kind of ripples and folds, and um, just wonderful.
Thanks a lot.
Nice. We'll do another one. Is this still yeah?
It's still Muriel, yep. And this one too, I have kind of a fantasy, dreamlike feel to it. I don't know what this is, but you know, you have these a couple different figures. The one in the center, that's kind of this really little tiny little head, but really near the center of the picture, sort of reminded me of a Javanese figure, you know, that the shadow puppets that they have. And then you've got this sort of on the right, more towards the right, sort of this elongated egg, or I don't know, I was thinking a little bit of a sperm cell or something, you know, and it's got these little, you know, life forms, these kind of branchy, twisty branches on the surface of it. And it's got a tail, and, you know, really suggesting life, you know, the origin of life. And then you've got the tallest figure, which is the you know, something that looks like it's on still standing on one leg, and then again, looking at it more, you kind of look up, and it's got this sort of bad hair, you know, at the top, and these kind of eyes that are sort of off to the side, and you know, a little arm to match the little leg, and it's yeah, it's there's just, again, it for me, it pulls in, and there's a lot of mental prompts, you know, that then you fill in with your own vision. You know, what I'm seeing may be different than what other people see in here. At first too, I thought, well, this would be more suitable to a you know, it's elongated in the vertical dimension, so you know, maybe there's a little too much on the sides. But you know, again, looking at it more, like on the left-hand side, that looks like some sort of vegetation, you know, a tree form, or seaweed or something. Maybe this is a scene under the ocean. You know, there's just, again, so much going on in this. I just like the dreamlike, very suggestive. And then you've got that one thing, that black sort of rocket or something that's next to the egg. Yeah, there's just plenty of things to engage the mind, and suggesting something that you can then fill in with your own imagination. So I really like this. And
Nice. All right, we'll do one more, and then we'll open it up to discussion. Maybe Muriel can say a few things about the pieces, or people can jump in on discussion. But go ahead, Ron, talk about this one.
Yeah, and again, the last one was monochromatic, pretty monochromatic. This is pretty monochromatic. You know, it's this one's probably more realistic, I guess, if you call it that, than the others. I mean, I see this kind of person with a cloak standing on a cliff by the side of the ocean, and the cloak has got these, you know, the crackly design in it, and then there's some sort of a hill, you know, in the sort of center towards the bottom, that white pill. You've got way off in the center on the left-hand side, you've got this kind of thing that looks like a bat. You know, once again, you know, evocative to me anyway, and suggestive. I sometimes yeah, and I limited it to 3. There were many more that I could have picked. There's another one mural that I like that is, because I was looking at, they're so monochromatic, is they're trying to pick something with color, and you had one of them that was these kind of stripes. It was sort of a pinkish, purplish stripes and then alternating with blue-gray stripes. And it, to me, was, I would have titled that maybe Good Vibrations, because it suggested, it suggested a hum. Oh, so many things in here. You know, I had so much fun looking at these. It was really hard to pick. It was really hard to pick.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the things too you wonder is, if you ever do a show or display your work, sometimes you have to provide an artist statement. And at some point, I'd be interested to know what your artist statement is. I mean, what is your intention? What are you doing? Because it's really magical. And yeah, if you go a little further, this was another contender. If you can go down a little further, Tim, this one with the dolphins on the right. Oh, here's the one with the, there
Which
you
one?
go, in the center on the left.
This one here?
Yeah, that suggested sort of, to me, that suggested vibrations.
Yeah, yeah.
It almost makes a sound, you know, it's a hum. And then, you know, the slight imperfection of the, you know, there's this kind of rectangle, and then there's this little circle, tiny little details, but it really adds to this. Yeah, but there's some color.
Nice.
Muriel, again, very talented. I really enjoy your work.
Muriel, that would, feel free to comment, Muriel, but to maybe work your way around to Ron's suggestion of your artist statement, of how that fits into some of the things that he talked about or chose.
Could you just repeat, Tim, your last sentence about my understatement? Or
That to talk about whatever you want to respond to Ron, but maybe think with the idea of your artist statement in mind, that we can be, maybe it's, you don't have to, but anyway, feel free to talk now.
Well, my intention is just to be open and to show, as many of us, I think, to see, and to share the beauty on we can find in mundane things, in not beautiful things. Nothing more, I guess, but many times I wonder if I find things. Sure, I find things, but also my feeling is that sometimes my imagination is projecting, or is showing image on the walls, or on. So, well, it's just share these images, and what I like, and this is really a beautiful gift you give me, Ron, is to, well, is to share and to learn about other visions, and a lot of things that you mentioned. I have, well, it depends. So some of them I had already seen them. Other are really discoveries for me, and that's great. And, well, perhaps I will share my understatement, my written understatement in a few days or week. It will be easier for me, but I think perhaps this is the essential. No precise intention, just stop, look, and share. Mom.
Nice.
It just seemed to me that you're driven by something, because you're seeing stuff that's just, you know, it's just like image after image, and they're all so wonderful. So there's something that's driving you, or that's motivating you, or, you know, I don't know. Just, and by the way, I was going to ask you, are you in France, or are you in Canada?
I'm in France, near Paris.
Super.
But there is a lot to say. I mean, but it's not very easy to me. It's when I say I have no intention, it's not. It doesn't mean that it's not very important for me. You know, it means that it's not a intellectual aim. It's just to feel and to see and well and to share. I just it is not constructed aim. I don't know if I'm clear, but
Yeah. No, I
Like
understand.
intuitive, like kind of intuitive, right?
yeah.
I think this Muriel's eye is exceptional. First of all, like again, the consistency of her, the quality and quantity of Muriel's work is impressive. That she's seeing stuff everywhere a lot. But the other thing that just came to mind is Muriel is in Paris, and I have just such a romantic idea of walking around Paris and all the things you would see. Like, I'm so jealous of Muriel's location when you have like just this bounty of old weathered, like, I don't know, you're in a hot spot, Muriel. And the
Sorry,
idea,
I am in what?
you're in a hot spot, you're in a hub, a very
Yeah.
hot spot, meaning like there's a
Yeah.
lot of
I get it.
material, a lot
I
of
get it.
material. And so I just had this dream, and I'm just going to say it now, but in maybe a year or two, we meet in person in
Yeah.
Paris for a week and just have
Great.
a blast. I just found out, I mean, I know a friend who is a musician and an artist, and he just turned me on to the world of grants. I don't know if where you live, your country has grants for artists, but in Canada, the Canada Arts Council is looking for exactly the kind of thing that we're doing to just give money to make it happen. And if you, so like I could probably find funding for myself to go and maybe, or we could organize a show in Paris. I'm just dreaming, but I just found out as artists, we have in Canada, we have some access to grants. And I encourage you all to look into artist grants in your area and see. Maybe you don't get all the money, but all you have to do is say how much it costs, what you're planning on doing, and you tell them what it's going to cost you, and they will most likely give you some money. So anyways, I just been dreaming bigger once I know there might be some money involved to help it facilitate it. Anyway, sorry, that was a side.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I wanted to
about what just Tim said. If you want, we can talk about it later. I'm like an expert grant seeker. I used to do grants, look for grants because I'm pretty poor and I come from a place that is pretty far away. So I looked for grants for nerds. I'm good at grants for academia, then for sciences and for arts. I've searched in Canada, but you got to be in Canada. So I can help you with all the documents, writing and things if you ever need. Because I was going to apply to some to Canada. I am Canadian, but I can't since I'm over here. So if you need help and you want to get something for a group, I totally count on me, okay?
Awesome. Well, we'll start a separate email thread maybe for this idea. I'm happy to talk about it anytime. And Lauren, you said you had a couple comments too?
Yeah, about the grant thing. I lived for many years with the help of Canada Council and Ontario Arts Council grants. So we could go for a coffee and talk about that in a little bit more detail.
Wonderful. Lauren lives
I don't want to
like
bust
3
your
blocks away from me.
balloon, but it's a little bit more complicated, and there are criteria. I mentioned this at one point as well about the possibility of putting a show together. But yeah, let's talk about it over coffee sometime in the next few weeks when you're in town.
Sounds good. Yeah. Lauren is like 2 blocks away from me in Toronto.
Yes.
Literally 2 blocks away, like a 3-minute walk.
In fact, we bumped into each other at a film screening the other night, not even knowing that we were going there together or
It was a
separately.
it was a documentary about the early punk music scene in Toronto, and it was a really fun crowd there. I just
Yes.
happened to be there, but I had to ask Lauren if he was in the film because they were showing people like, oh my goodness, that could be Lauren in the 60s. He's like, I'm not on stage, but I may be in the crowd.
Yeah. No, as it was, I wasn't, but I'm very good friends with the guy that was producing the punk scene back at the Horseshoe at that point in time,
Mhm.
Gary Top. And yeah, I let him know that I saw the film. Also, the editor of the film, I'm good friends with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going on in a different tangent. I
Yeah.
also wanted to speak to the
Yeah.
second image that was up there. If we could go back to that.
This one? No, this one.
Yeah.
No, this one.
Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
No, yeah, this one here. A couple of things that came to mind on this. And the first one was when I did a show recently, I was actually taking the work to print to exhibit it. And in the process, I had to select a number of images. And then what I did was I made 8.5 by 11 prints on my own printer, just to get all the final tweaks that I wanted, and then handed the file over to a printer to print them larger. And I discovered in the process, much like I do in these sessions, how much other people's thoughts are important to expanding my look at my own work, and also what happens when you look at a print for an extended period of time, and how that opens your own eyes and your own brain up to it, as opposed to flipping on Instagram, where the image is small. You don't necessarily notice. Well, it is for me because I look on my phone. Others maybe look on their computers, I'm not sure. But one thing that was mentioned, it was about like in the lower left, that little bit of kind of reddish brown. And I never would have noticed that at all had
Ron.
not brought that to my attention. And if I were printing the image and I had come across that in the same way, which I would have, then I probably would have been one to bring up that red in intensity so that it's not as subtle, and possibly bring up at the very top, slightly to the left of center, there's also a little bit of red, and a couple of other places. So I would have brought up the vibrancy or the saturation in those areas so that becomes maybe a more obvious layering of color across the fairly monochrome or slightly bluish cast to it. And I find that initially when I print, I don't really have a lot to do to the prints. I mean, what's there is there. Sometimes I might want to darken the highlights because they don't print as well. You don't get the texture in the highlights when you go to print, as opposed to seeing them on the screen. So I would make those kinds of adjustments. But secondly, that to actually let the image speak to me. And, what is it saying that needs more pumping up? What is it saying that needs more toning down to direct my eye in a certain kind of way? So just an observation as to how I might address it. But again, I'm not Muriel, so I'm not in any way trying to impose this as
Sure.
has to be done this way, but just to open people's eyes up to the fact that if they want to bring out like a second layer of graphic that maybe is there subtly, and for some reason they want to play with that more, that's something that can be done. The other thing that I noticed, and again, Ron mentioned this as well, is if you have some white paper and you can just put the paper up to it, I often, and I don't necessarily do this, crop. I love the idea of cropping in really tight, so that if you take these two sides and crop it to a very narrow vertical, you get this kind of beautiful family portrait that when you see the whole width, gets a little bit lost in its tensions from one of these figures to the next. Really starts to pop a bit when it is cropped in tight.
Mhm.
Now, again, this isn't necessarily practical, because one of the things both in Instagram and in exhibitions is people like to see consistency. So if you've got one really skinny one and one square one and one this one and that one, like I've been criticized the first time I applied for a grant because my images were that way. And initially I was refused the grant, and one of the reasons was because they're inconsistent. Somebody wanted to see a consistent body of work. And fortunately, I took them to task on it and did receive the grant based on actually holding up to why I had done that.
Nice.
But
Okay.
I find it interesting to how to get the image to like really go from corner to corner, top to bottom, with information and relevant information to enhance the power of it. And sometimes
I remember in Muriel's last appreciation thing, one of the things that was mentioned was her subtle use of color, was one thing. And then the other thing, sorry, that Lauren, that came to mind as a possible future forum topic, based on what you were saying, is it could be done two ways. One is we find a raw image, someone provides a raw image, and the entire group edits it the way they would like to edit it. And
That's cool.
you know,
That's cool.
everyone could then, and then everyone would, you'd have the same raw image. Maybe you take a few pictures, few screenshots of your process, and then everyone would have somewhat of a different image. I'm thinking if you see like a big wall and you can take any part of that wall, you know what I mean? Something like that, because it would speak to that process thing of how everyone sees something differently, us all starting with the same root, and then watching the expression of our where our eyes are led, or minds or intuition leads us.
Right.
What a great idea. But I want to just go back, like when, you know, again, that's very subjective, Lauren.
Yes, of course.
My wife, Susan, who's also a really good artist, but not a photography artist, is, you know, sometimes says I crop too tightly. She says it makes it look forced. So I think you just have to try, right? I mean, that doesn't mean you shouldn't. It just means that, you know, it works sometimes, it doesn't work other times. I don't know. I'm happy with it the way it is. I think with the subtlety.
I'm not at all unhappy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that in cropping tighter, you get a different tension between.
It's one of our great tools. It's one of our wonderful tools, the cropping.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be overly influenced by your wife's thoughts about cropping too tightly, because my feeling is, and my first mentor mentioned this to me, and I've held on to it for 50 years, is that every person's eyes are unique. And what is too tight for one person, is too loose for the next person, but ultimately it's the artist that makes the final decision. And not so much for that picture, but the next picture that they take, which foot are they stepping forward on? And is it, you know, is your wife's comment in the background the next time you crop, or are you cropping from your own eyes? So my suggestion is, like, try and get to your eyes, and not every picture is going to work for you, maybe, but those that do work will work exceptionally strong.
All right, we're going to keep moving. That's all good, great stuff there, Lauren. We're going to keep it moving though, because we're already like half an hour in, and we've done one person. So we're trying this format for the first time in a while, so maybe we'll just kind of keep it going. But
Okay.
next one, we need to do Muriel, because Muriel's leaving. So
Yeah. Please, thanks a lot,
on.
Tim.
No problem.
This is
Here we
Ron.
go.
I don't know if it's well, my first, yeah.
Here we go. There we go. All
Yeah.
right. So here we go. Muriel, Ron, you are each other's secret Santa, which is a
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if it's happenstance or if it's a principle of it's for the other one, it's not the same.
What's that?
Well, it's not very important, but I don't know if the fact that we are each other a secret Santa
It's
is
a Christmas miracle. It's a secret Santa
okay.
miracle.
Okay. Well, Ron Gallery is very, very rich and eclectic with different things. There are abstracts, street photographies, flowers, a lot of things, but always with a strong personal and smart vision, really. And this image is really special for me. This is it is very bright with this cube golden faces and the glossy white surface. There is a strong, speaking about colors, a very only two tones plus black and white, so a great sobriety, and which makes it stronger, I think. And I love the composition, really. The reflection of the black and white checkerboard. It's in the big pink and golden cubes. So the big cubes appears like displayed as diamonds, and the reflection is there is a diversity in the reflection in the black and white checkerboard reflections. On the bottom left, it is very frontal, whereas on the white, I don't know which, it could be a washing machine at the right. The reflection is in perspective. It's with a leading line toward the center of the image, and this is really, really strong. So this image made me think about something, and also not only now, but the first time I view when Ron posted it, and without knowing what precisely it was, but I thought about the Dutch drawer Escher. You know him, and he is the one with who draws the stairs that always goes up or down, optical illusion.
It defies reality, the physics.
Yeah. And I had difficulties, but finally I found I will post a link in the chat. I found and the image of Escher
Mhm.
is I have put it. I have paste the link in the chat. It is a wallpaper that Escher designed, and it is it really echoes makes me echo for well with round images, because round image for me it's also an optical illusion, as in many of Escher works. I can't decide. I cannot know if they are really cubes or if the pink and golden cubes are another checkerboard. I don't know. I see the white furniture, the washing machine, or I don't know. It seems to be placed on the cube, but I don't know. Well, I suppose they are real in relief, but I'm not sure. It's really a mystery, and I still don't know if it's a graphic illustration or composite image or not. It's really a fascinating enigma. And I would like to hear Ron about it, but also if you could perhaps show the link I post, Tim, that would be great. It's really fascinating, I think.
Can someone send me the link? I'm having trouble. Oh, there's the chat. Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
chat,
I
I
put
found. Sorry, I couldn't. Thanks. I was having
because
trouble.
I think there is something to do between Ron and this and Escher, really.
Yeah, nice.
Strange, isn't it?
Okay, hang on. Okay.
I don't know if you knew this image, Ron. Oh, what's that? Oh.
There we go. I'm trying to embiggen. There we go. Yeah, go ahead, Muriel.
No, well, I just I think for this image I have
Yeah.
told the principle, but the main things. But I would like to have a round perception and also explanation. I'm don't. It's not the essential to have to know about an image, but to know how an image has been constructed. What is it in reality? But in this case, it's really intriguing me.
It's just a a bathroom in York in England, and the appliance thing, the white
Is it
on the
upside
side
down?
there.
Is it upside
No,
down?
it's not upside down. That's the toilet bowl, and it's hanging. And there's the toilet is bottom right, off camera. But yeah.
But
Yeah,
are
I
the
remember
cube?
seeing it. Sorry.
Are the cube existing? Are the big the cube the pink and golden and black cube? Are they in relief or are they plain on an
think it's
image?
Tile, I
flat.
think.
They're
Yeah, it's
mosaic.
a flat surface. It's a flat surface. It's
Okay, okay.
back of the wall there. It's
They are behind the white form. Okay,
Yep.
okay. I've got it.
but I love that mural. That's showing that Escher. It's spot on.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Does anyone remember the game Q-bert? The video game Q-bert, where a little man would jump up a pyramid. Anyways, Q-bert reference. No one gets it. No problem.
Well, I just want to say that the image is really cool. Definitely there's Escher, but maybe not necessarily Ron, as he says he hadn't seen it, but more that these types of tiles are made from Escher's work. The math he made the visualization that he made affected a lot tile making, and you know, like tiles, like Arab tiles, or in their Spanish versions or other places, they do this. They, through geometry, through the angles, I can make you think there is three-dimensionality, which is what Escher does so well, right? And it looks like in the image, it's amazing. The light is wonderful because you also see all the reflection and the highlights of this floor that's checkered black and white, and the highlights of the white reflect on the cubes of the mosaic on top of the wall. I think this is wonderful. What a beautiful washroom to photograph.
Yeah. Thanks.
What's so weird about these tiles is that they're reverse perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things that you could look at it multiple, like that optical illusion is you could see
Yeah.
that center point as forward, as relief or forward. And that's where your mind really goes cuckoo.
Yeah.
It
Because,
depends.
yeah.
Go on.
No, that's it.
It depends on, you see, our minds usually, our cognition is used to having light coming from on top. So we automatically, there's like studies of how to do this, how we automatically assume if light is on top, then things pop out in a certain way. Or if you put it down and all the variations. So that's used very much in this type of thing. I was looking to build the washroom and I was looking for tiles. They do these really amazing tiles like that. If you want, if you guys want, I can send you the shop, because its catalog is just like an amazing geometrical
Put the link in the chat.
art show.
Look us up in the
I don't
chat.
have it now, but I'll send it to you
All right.
on the
I'll put it in.
IG
I'll
chat.
put it in the show notes.
Awesome.
All right, let's keep going. Ron, give us another.
Yeah.
Well, Muriel, this is so. Right, I'm just going to go quickly through what. Let me see. Oh wait, this is.
Good.
All right,
Okay.
it's just these two. Okay, is that right? Just the two?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, I choose this one. It's not so abstract, but it's very, very graphic with geometric forms, so circles, triangles, parallels, lines. And I saw also a singular pareidolia expression. I am I often see faces, but I see a single big eye with the lips falling and down, and that make a disappointed on her or unhappy face. And again, we have just one color with black and white, and this tone sobriety strengthens the composition, I think. And of course, the reflection of in the mirror, it's like a cherry on the cake. It is clear; we can see it well. And I wish I could entering. I wish I can, or I could. I don't know. Entering into this circle and walk in this savvy alley. And I see it after. I see after where it is, but I'm not surprised because I love this city. Seville is a really a great photogenic city, I think. And this image is really strong geometrical image.
It's interesting for Ron to have noticed your preference for monochrome with a little bit of color popping out, and you chose a monochrome with a little bit of color popping out. I think we have, like, you know, it's kind of a neat what he saw in yours you see in his, which is kind of a neat that's more of your eye reacting to the beauty that you're drawn to, right?
And it gives me something to think about as an inspiration for future things.
Right. So I'm trying to find. So is the center of where the three lines meet in the center, Muriel? Is that, what part of the face is that? that that's the,
Yeah, it could be. It's not really a face.
okay.
The circle is the eyes. The mirror it is the eye, and the point where the point where the three lines meet.
Mhm.
It's it could be the top of the mouth.
Mhm.
But it's really, well, I share my vision, but I know
Sure,
it's
sure.
quite a,
No,
a strange one.
the feeling I got when you said eye, the immediate sense I got was a bird, like that gray center with it looks like the light gleaming off the top, that
Yeah.
triangle resting on the red base. I don't know, I get like a bird beak feeling, like it's an eye of a bird, but not it's a totally abstract bird.
Yeah,
And the bird could be looking at you with the beak looking forward, or the bird could be looking to the left as well, with the beak looking to the left. But
Yeah.
anyway, like a cardinal, maybe.
I remember when taking this photo that I had to be careful that my reflection wasn't in the mirror. So I
Yeah,
had to
no
sort of
small
move
feet
aside
there.
a little bit, to make sure that.
It would be great to get a video of all the contortions photographers go to not be in mirrors or not have their shadow in a picture, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Hey, the last picture, by the way, the one with the cubes,
Yeah.
the color, that color, that sort of pink, I don't know, pinkish orange color, I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah.
Susan said that she found an article maybe in the New York Times about the color of the year. Styles
really?
keep changing, and apparently that's the color. Some shade of that is the color of the year coming for
All
2020.
right. It just looks like kind of skin color, but
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
it's not
right.
one I would have chosen, but there you go.
Okay,
Yeah,
come
I
on,
saw
Peter.
I saw it's peach, some peach color.
Right. It's like a dirty peach, dirty pastel peach. Color of the
Thanks,
year.
Ron. Thank you.
No problem. Anyone else have any other comments for these images or for Ron? Let me do a quick. Go ahead while you're talking.
No, I just have a very quick third one for Ron. If
Oh, do you? Yeah,
send
it over.
I
You
send.
did send it. Okay, hang on, that's on me.
Do you want me to send it again?
Did you send it? You sent it here on my.
Yeah.
Okay, second. A little behind the scenes show here.
Try to find it again. I've got it.
There we go.
I put it in. I've put. Oh, okay.
This one here.
Right. Yeah.
Bingo. You got it.
And well, this one for me, it's quite. It's very unusual for me to be attracted by white tones. I have my eyes loves more black and but here I love all the details of the nuances or the subtleties in the white in the white. I love the cracks and the smooth texture on the middle form. And really, what I love in this image, it's I feel like touching it. I feel I put in my hand on this form, on this stone, I suppose. And I love that when images implies other senses than view, hearing, of touching. For me, it's stronger. It's very, very interesting. And this image is really appealing for me. I would like to touch.
Nice. I wrote here, I really liked it too, Muriel. I wrote here that it reminded me of an aerial, like an aerial photograph of a salt flat. It looks like, yeah, it looks it looks like an aerial footage. And so I like that macro, micro, again, kind of optical illusion, how you can go, it can be something really close or really far, just like the cubes were kind of, could change relief or forward. So I find that like, yeah, I find it really engaging. All right, great. We're gonna keep
So
on.
I'm sorry, I will have to go now.
Okay.
I told you, Tim,
Yes.
it was really great, and thanks a lot,
Perfect.
Ron,
I'm
and
glad.
thanks a lot of.
Thank you, Muriel. I'm glad we could
Bye. I will listen to the replay.
Okay,
Thanks, Muriel. Thank you.
great. Thanks,
Bye.
Muriel. Merry Christmas.
The prochaine.
À la prochaine.
La
Joyeux Noël.
prochaine. Okay, next we have, let's see. Okay. Our next person is, whoops, is Barb. Barb's Secret Santa is Nirvana. Is Barb here? Yeah, okay, great.
You know, all of our choices are like personal biases, and my personal bias is color. But so I was automatically drawn to this, but I'm also drawn to the red-green contrast and the circle, square, line contrast. And I don't know, even as I scrolled through a couple times, I always kept going back to this image. And the other part that I really enjoyed was as you flip through all those little dots there, how she has it displayed in different environments. And every time I see that, I'm like, oh, why don't I do that?
It's a great
You
idea.
know, it just, in different crops of it as well. It just sort of, it really,
It's already on your wall. Like you don't have to imagine it on your wall. It's just there. That's what it's gonna look like. So you don't have to, it's like one step, removing one step of the purchasing of a piece of art is like, yeah, this is what it looks like.
yeah. And it's the very first time I've ever noticed it in multiple framing techniques. You know, with a mat, with just the border up to the edge, you know, as a, yeah, I just thought that I really, you know, it's one of those moments you hit your head and go, why don't I do that?
I'm going to add a quick tip for you, for anyone, because I was trying to do I'm trying to do more of this myself, but you have to pay quite a bit to get, you know, if you're able to do AI, if you know a few things about AI, you're able to just type in, what is this called again? This is called like, what is it? What is the word for this type? Mocking.
These
right.
are, yes, these are, oh, I forgot the word now, but yeah, it has to do with,
like a mock-up or a mocking. Yeah.
A mock-up.
Yeah. So you can type into AI, if you're familiar with any AI prompting, it's really simple to do type in mock-up and describe the type of room and the colors you want in the room. And it'll just give it to you with a blank frame. And you can do exactly this. I mean, maybe Nirvana, you can talk a little bit about your process of doing these mock-ups.
Well, okay, this is not going to sound very artistic. I opened my Instagram. I've been going at this for a long time. And I opened my Instagram during the pandemic because I had lost my job and I had lost, it was in a hard time. So, well, I usually sold my photos, but I had seen all these sites of like, look at your photo here, look at your photo there. And I used to work as a media manager for Instagram for a Mexican brand here of handmade toys. And they taught me like what Instagram is for. I didn't really like Instagram as a social media site because it's so small. You can't see things unless they're very flashy, like things we've already commented about taking the moment to look at the image. I am very much of like sitting and I like big prints when possible and looking at it and letting it in. And I find in the phone, I just become like, just me because of my work and stuff. So I said, okay, I've got nothing to do. I'm just going to do some mock-ups by myself. So I looked up all the images I could find that were not necessarily copyrighted. Many of the mock-ups don't even actually exist. Like this is a good photo, but if you go to another one, Tim, go to the left. Some of them are actually made by architects. Architects do this to show what a room is, or interior designers, and those are called renders.
Renderings.
So if you look up renders or interior design renders, things like that, I said, okay, I'm going to do my Instagram and it's going to be to sell photographs because I really need to sell something. So I didn't, I feel a bit ashamed about this, but all my profile is not about me or my art. It's just showing and saying, hey guys, if you want to buy it, this is it. These are limited editions. These are open editions. They're in this size and you can see them in this type of frame, that type of frame. Totally, completely business thinking. Not my favorite thing, but I took it seriously. And so for each photograph, most of my photographs are square. So I designed the way I put photographs together. That the ones that are rectangle, I have to put them in a frame, or if not, it won't look good. And this is not a render, but let me see another one, Tim. I thought I saw a render here. Renders look a bit too clean.
This one?
No, these are photos. No, next one. Next one.
That's it.
Yeah, this is a render. And it's a free render from another site. So what you do, because I don't have money to pay not even $5 for a month or anything like that. And
it can be expensive.
So I look.
It can be expensive to get a subscription or get access to really great.
I think they're really exploiting artists because they realize that this was like, I think they're charging way too much.
Well, it's forced us to do what you're doing, is to find the free ones and do it yourself. Yeah,
or I even find some that are not renders, but they're in free use. Okay, my photographs have been ripped off from me many times. So I also have a bit of a political stance about this. I really, so anyway, we can talk about the ethics of it. But what I do is I mainly look for the free ones. I can give you some websites that have like use free for only download 2 a day or something like that. So I was like for a month doing this, just putting together. I got this folder that I called mockups, verticals, and I just put them together. Some look good because there's like the shadow. Some don't, because I just like put the block on top and the image. But the idea is so that people can, I come from an artist family in part, and my dad had a gallery. It's very hard. People love art. Oh, it's so nice to see. When you're looking at Instagram, you're already getting like, oh, the niceness of seeing lots of cool art at the tip of your finger. But nobody kind of wants to buy, especially when economies are low or stuff. So I just try to push it, do the whole thing, you know, and it worked. Most people, sales I've made through Instagram have been of people who know me, who've been to my exhibitions. But I don't know, just the idea of seeing it online, buy quick, I don't know, that triggered them to say, hey, yeah, I want this. While I've been for years available, and they know, but they don't ask. Like people will say, hey, let me go see your studio. What have you done new? So all my photos are actually old. I've just put a couple new ones, but they're not from like the past 3 years even. So yeah, that's what I do. Sorry, I don't want to go into that part because I don't really like that part.
But it's really interesting. It's really interesting to hear all about that. Like I'm sure other people, you know, would be interested.
You can hire me to do that. How about that?
This is what I wanted to talk about. and I've put it forward numerous times, is about talking about the difference between the art object and virtual art. And whether you look at it through the works of art through the age of mechanical reproduction, or you look at it in the way that we're talking about it now, it's very much the same topic. It's about, you know, for example, as you say, Nirvana, that when somebody sees your image in a room, it motivates them in a way that seeing your image just on Instagram, framed by the Instagram frame, does not motivate them. So this puts them into possibly a buying perspective, even though they've known you for years and never, you know, approached you about purchasing. All of a sudden, this has kind of created a more purchasing environment in their minds. Again, even though it's completely artificial and virtual.
Yes, it's really weird. I don't know if you guys have gotten the ads of Instagram of like a year ago. I would nonstop get them about like online exhibitions where you virtual exhibitions, you walk into this huge white room and all the paintings and everything are there, and they charge you like $150 to be in that.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys do know that with a little bit of, I don't even use Photoshop, but with a little bit of editing software, you can get that done.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of, because not how we use it, but a lot of Instagram is about sales and is about presenting. That's why hashtags exist. That's why all these different buttons exist. Like there's a whole other side, no, not the social part, that is in a way, it speaks to our minds in the buying side. And maybe some of us don't have it so developed, that gland, but others I see respond very well to it. Made even better in a virtual world, Lauren, than in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're 2 clicks away from saying, okay, let's do it. You know, the other thing I like, Nirvana, is that you're showing the size that you're suggesting. Like, I think that's taking a lot of, you know, you're saying this is a big photo. This is not going to be some little thing on your desktop. This is meant to be printed large to be seen, you know, the size it's intended for. I think that is really helpful. And it clarifies it from you and for everyone from the beginning. It's limited edition. This is the size, take it or leave it. You know, I like the,
well, yes and no.
I mean, if someone says, hey, I need it bigger, you're not going to say no. Or if I need, you know,
yeah.
But at least you're suggesting as a
intention.
middle point. You're suggesting as a starting point a 43 by 43 centimeter picture. And like, that's a great,
yes.
You know.
I had a problem where I lost pretty much like all my artwork, like 80% of my art that I had done for over 10 years because I didn't have a backup hardware, and my hardware it all burst at the same time.
Oh man.
So I lost a lot. I don't actually have many of my photos in the original. And a lot of them I had to work on them, like, again, to make them a little bit better quality because I only had them in small files. I started out not knowing anything about TIFFs and JPEGs and RAWs. I started out like really, yeah. So I lost a lot, and some of the images I only, like, to my taste, I also have very not high quality cameras. So I can't take some of these super zoomed, beautifully detailed images, or I couldn't back then more because I didn't have a camera. So I do say the size that I like to be printed. I did start out, Tim, trying to do the right size, but no, like that one there, I tried to get it kind, but I think that's like 60 centimeters probably, looking at the pillow. But I am a terribly detailed oriented person that gets really picky, and I realize most people don't even think about these things.
But you're still showing it as a large size object. So I'm going to go through a few more. I'm realizing now the folly of my suggesting people submit several photos, because we're just not going to have time to do multiple photos per person at this time and still end at a decent time. I hope people are okay with being flexible on that one.
Go ahead, but I
maybe,
would really like to hear her comments about my photos also.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, Barb, feel free to choose one of these that you'd like to speak about.
Well, I could. To me, they're both what appealed to both of them was the simplicity graphical component of it, while still being complex, and that appeals to me. The color appeals to me, and although they're very simple, my eye is moving around and what's over here, what's over there. And they all had a point of interest that just drew my eye right in.
When she helps you too by saying, check out a few of these little details you might have missed.
Yeah, as well. Yeah.
That I took from art books. You know how in art books, like there's details of murals, so you can see this here. And I'm like, well, people should be able to see the quality more or less of the print and the size.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Barb. I see you're attracted towards the geometrical ones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we all have our biases. And that's mine.
No, it's interesting. It's interesting. I would like to, when we were talking about Muriel's work, and I wanted to propose that maybe one of our activities could be to make a little, I don't know, maybe it's a long-term activity would be, I don't know. Let me just say it and we'll work out the details. Like, it's really hard to do sometimes curatorial work on one's own work. And sometimes, for example, I see things on, oh, this is about quantum mechanics. So this one. But visually, they may not necessarily, like a little bit of what Lauren was saying about when you apply to grant some things. They're like, oh, no, these photographs are not in the same format, or they don't even follow the same not color scheme, but like light. You know? If you're going to use high contrast and then low contrast, don't mix them. I'm like, to me, these things seem arbitrary, but I understand it's arbitrary in many ways, how these things are done. So I find it interesting by talking with all of you guys and how we analyze other people, well, our work, that we have certain tastes. So I see like Barb's chosen some of the very geometric ones. And if Barb would, my idea was that if we could choose, like, make a little show of 5 pieces each of all of us, that maybe not as a video conference, but maybe as a long-term project, that might be helpful, as if you were the curator of this artist, right? Not just the ones you like, but the ones you think go together, or maybe a theme or a color.
Choose a series, you know, like create a series out of your work, like
exactly
an integrated series.
Curates a little series and tells us why that's a series. No.
So someone does it for you. Someone does it for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, cool, not me, or not you, not on our own work, but we do it to somebody else. I think that would be really cool, because when working with curators, I found that sometimes we understand each other really well, but most of the times not. And it's fair that those times are interesting, because you see what others are seeing in your image, but not just from the perspective like, oh, I like this. Look, this speaks to me. It's more like I see a theme coming around in your, and it's not necessarily the theme you're seeing. So it can help for shows and things like that.
I like what you're saying, is because what we're doing is the micro version of that. We're looking at one image, or we're choosing one image and saying, this is what we like, or 3 images, and saying, okay, here's different things. But the theme, in my mind, it's more of a phrase of images that you kind of string together that all are around that same size. So it's a longer arc. I like it.
Well, I like to look at it like, think of a poet, and a poet, a poem is much like a photograph. It's a fairly concise, to the point thing. But then look at a book of poetry. And a book of poetry is more than a compilation of X number of poems. It's a kind of editing or a collection of poems that are moving towards a certain direction. So it may not be the poet's best, 100 poems, but they're poems that have been selected because they're enforcing and reinforcing a certain statement.
A cumulative theme is the kind of what
That's right.
It accumulates.
And I think curating is similar. Like one curator could go in and look at your work and pull out an exhibition, and another curator will pull out a completely different exhibition using completely different images.
Right.
And when we do exhibitions, we are doing our self-curating. We could present our best 15 images if we like, or we could form a kind of statement using 15 images that aren't necessarily our best, but the statement itself is strong because each one reinforces the other one in a certain manner. As like you've said, Nirvana, in the choice of geometrics. So somebody has, in a sense, curated a series of more geometrically oriented stuff, which may not be, in your opinion or someone else's opinion, your best or speaking strongest to them.
Mm-hmm.
But when somebody curates, they're in fact saying, this is what my statement as a curator is, using the work that's available to me. And they may work in collaboration with the artist, or they may be, dictators and say, I don't care what you're trying to say. They wouldn't be saying that, of course. They'd be very diplomatic about it.
So,
but ultimately, they have the right or the power, depending on their own egos or their own advancement of certain ideologies or styles in art, or making their own name as a curator, to do that. So it's kind of curious to even use the word curator, because there are so many different kinds of curating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why I think it would be valuable, since we've been doing this for a while, and I am very familiarized with some of your works. For some reason I hadn't, but what I mean is we've spent time and attention into each other's work through this group. And I think we're at a stage, I find myself saying, oh yes, there's this theme here and this is work. And like Barb right now chose these images. I'm like, oh yeah, of course I like the geometry. That's why I take them. But there's it's a subgroup, no? And I hadn't thought which one.
It's basically what you're suggesting is like a Secret Santa series.
Long term, yeah, a long term, something you do a little bit. We don't have to talk about it all at once. We do a little bit each one, and we can share it through email or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm asking too much work.
You can make a collection. You can make a collection of posts. You can save a collection of posts on Instagram. Like you just go to save and you just type Nirvana's geometry theme, and anytime I see a post over the next month, I just put it in there and then curate that down to its 5 or whatever, and that's it. It could be pretty easy.
Yeah, something like that. Oh, you got curator wood.
Another B in the okay, put that on my okay. Next up we have Nirvana on Barb.
So this happened twice, I see. Barb was me
again,
and
a Christmas miracle. What are the odds? I mean, it's almost astronomical.
I have to see that hat of yours. So it's super cool. It's super cool. I went
So,
against
sorry,
what I'm.
sorry, Nirvana. So just to give you a little preview, just because it's 20 after, what I'm going to do is
I'll be real quick.
We'll go through all the photos first, and then you can focus on one that you want to talk about. Okay, so we got this one here. We got this one here. Beautiful. This one here. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone start with? You can just start talking about Barb, but maybe settle on one photo you want to maybe focus on.
I'll be real quick because I actually chose from Barb's images, doing exactly the opposite of what I've said that we should do. I tried to choose different styles of Barb that I see in her work and how I like several of them. So the first one, the one with like the lines like this and the dots, repeats a little bit, or the other one, and maybe it's the same place or something. With the last one you showed, where it already has all these other colors, greens and pinks. I think. Okay, I'll just go to the point. I think work has a beautifully layered transparency style to it. Like this one has it. But I think there's something of this photo that related to the first one, which is much more concrete and lined. And there's the one in the middle that is this hard lines, the orange lines with the shadows. I think that's amazing. The other one, that one.
Yeah.
I think that's like the two photographs I just mentioned are like the middle part where they touch. And then this one's the extreme of the harder lines. And the other one you just showed is much more of the ethereal layered transparency images. What I really like seeing those four aspects in her work. And this image, what I liked about the layered ones is that they pull you and you're like going in and seeing all these details. And is the square on top or below? This side pulls you, that side pulls you. And these other ones, like there's a statement of being, like it's a counter voice to her own transparency in her other works. So I really like this two features that they have a dynamic, sometimes separately and sometimes together. Like in this one, I chose this one because I thought it was a very good synthesis of many pieces that Barb what Barb I seem to think that Barb explores in many of her pieces.
Eclecticism is a theme as well.
Yeah, variety. Yes. Yeah, variety of themes, variety of,
Yeah, they're often a reaction of visiting a place and then my impressions of that place. So you're right, the very first one and this one are a reaction to the same place. The element, the line with the black circles, that's the exact same image layered in with the rest of it.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, they sort of get built, and as I'm building them, I'm like, this doesn't work, and what does it need? And or, the other one, pink is not my favorite color, but I have a girlfriend who just hounds pink into me, and so she's in my mind of pink is not bad. Like, well, okay, let me try. Maybe not. Maybe it is.
She's opened your universe to pink.
Well, she's put a crack. Let's put it that way. I wouldn't. I'm not quite there yet.
And again, Barb, you do a variety of techniques too. You do camera movement. You do some layered, some digital.
Yeah. Like I'll have some images that are multiple exposure within the camera. This one, I think I had just bought a new camera, and went off to play. It had the ability, it's a Fuji camera, and Fuji has the ability of creating your own white balances.
Okay.
So, you know, you can have a white balance that's lime green if you want.
Yep.
And so I was doing some multiple exposures, changing the white balance in between each shot to see what it would create. So yeah, that,
Neat.
you know, they can get a little bit eccentric or
This is great.
They're
I mean,
beautiful and complex.
this
Yeah.
one is one of my like all-time favorites. Like those black thing, I just immediately see like music notes, even though they're kind of going the wrong way. But
Yeah.
those are like music notes, and that just blasts like the kind of grid-like structure and kind of measure of a music bar on the left with and black and white contrasted with that beautiful marbling, wild, geometric, not like, yeah, just the wild, natural, unexpected sprawl of nature contrasted with that kind of stark, cold, mathematical precision of notes on a page or whatever.
Yeah, and the other thing that I do is when I'm making these in Photoshop, the very last thing I do is flatten them. And so over time I can't actually tell you what 3-4 images are part of it.
Hmm.
You know, some of them I know. The orange, I have no idea. But I do that so that I can't say, oh, I really love that. Let me go back and do that again.
Mm-hmm. Good.
You know, it's just to force myself to move on and try something new.
Nice.
It's very
Beautiful.
detailed work. I appreciate it very much, the layerings you do and
But
the
also just
really
one that's just-
ethereal.
yeah.
This one, so this started, that one there started a whole series. It's done in a playground. And
Right.
the green is that new surface that they make people have in the playgrounds instead of
Spongy.
stones, that spongy stuff. And it comes in several colors. And if you go out early enough in the morning before all the kids have shown up, I spent one whole summer just going from playground to playground.
That's fun. Kind of
Yeah.
creepy, but a little fun also.
Well, as somebody pointed out to me, it's creepy if men go do it. It's not
Right, that's what I
creepy
was
if
thinking.
women.
Yeah. If I just show up in my trench coat and start taking pictures of playgrounds, I don't think I would last very long.
Yeah, well, that's why I had to go early in the morning for even as female going before the kids showed up.
All right, wonderful. We're gonna keep moving, and again, I apologize for the change of pace, but in the attempt to get everyone on. So next we have, who is Gudrun's? Oh, that's Paul. Okay, so Paul unfortunately is under the weather, and also it's the middle of the night for him in Japan. So his Secret Santa was Gudrun, and he sent the pictures and a few comments for each picture. So I'm just going to read them. So the first one, otherworldly yet familiar, like I'm seeing through another being's eyes. The colors and compositions are deeply calming. The transformation of a mundane event through the alchemy of artistic vision. Bam. I'm just going to speak up on Paul's behalf for a second, saying, Lauren, when you talked about collections of poems, I recommend highly getting Paul's book of poetry and photography. He does a book of photography called it's called something about looking at things differently, or a different look, or something like that. And it's all poetry matched with his own abstract photographs. And his photography is phenomenal, but his words, as you can see, are also just beautiful. And they're all little kind of challenges of like, try to walk down the street, but not like be there for the first time, like travel in your city like it's the first time there, and a lot of little suggestions, playful kind of meditations. Anyways, and all on that same theme, paired with photos. Okay, so next one is this one. Oh, did I get that wrong? Okay, make sure that's not the last one. 1 second. I think I've got. Here we go. Apologies for the delay. Okay, here we go. Oh, okay. So this one, Paul writes, I know what it is from the description. It says white lava. I know what it is from the description, which makes it fascinating. All of the associations of deep history and the violence of creation, but I see and hear the ocean splashing around these rocks, a fossilized sea on an alien planet. Wow.
Wow.
Beautiful. And I'm just going to read the caption here. It says, white lava, this series is the result of an 8-kilometer walk over the black lava fields of Kilauea. Thank you.
Kilauea.
Thank you. Surrounded by only black matter, I ask myself, what if the lava could be white? Beautiful.
Yes. Yes, all the lava. This is a series of lava pictures where I made the negative from the images, so that all the black gets white and all the white gets black. And this was very interesting. When I was walking there, I've only seen black lava, and then my brain got ideas.
Nice. And is that in Hawaii? Is that, or where is that? That place that I cannot pronounce.
Yeah, it's in Big Island of Hawaii.
Okay.
So when you want to see the place where the lava floods into the sea, you first have to walk over the lava field to get to this place. So, the other
Must
one,
have been amazing.
Yes, it was amazing, but the lava was flowing below us. So we were on a ground where the lava in the depths somewhere. Sometimes you have seen holes where the hot lava was visible. So I felt a little bit in danger.
You were a little bit.
But many people walked there, so this was I felt a little bit more secure. So, but I was happy when we were on fixed ground with no lava below us. So, and the first one, which Paul has chosen.
Yes, please talk about the first. There's one more. There's one more after this, but please talk about this one. Otherworldly.
Yes, this one.
Familiar. Yeah.
It is some. I've seen it because my secret Santa is Paul. He's not here. So, but this is somehow, I've seen one of his books because he sent it to me a different way, where he has abstracts and poems. You talked about this already. And this one, this is also some kind of such thing. In winter time, I had my photo camera on a stative below the roof window of my house. And on the roof window, there was snow, there was rain, there was everything. And in the evening, when the lamp in front of my house was switched on, I found amazing structures and pictures. And I took a whole series of this, and this is one of them. the structures which you see here, they are from frozen ice crystals, and the lamp is also there. And from all these images, I made a little book with some kind of fairy tale, where in the evening when the lamp switches on, then you get into distant worlds and discover sometimes it was like cosmic planets or something else. And in the morning, when the lamp switches off, all the magic disappears then. And this was some kind like fairy tales which I made with all these images. The text also talks a little bit about this.
Cool. The street light, yeah. Oh, so that okay. Yeah, it looks like a huge moon or a sun coming up over a frozen planet for sure.
Yes, they were very interesting images. I posted a few of them also at Instagram here, where maybe as a place where Paul has taken this image.
Okay.
Can we see the book? Is there a link maybe to see it,
You have
or
the
is
link
it
to the book
only?
you're talking about? You're talking about the...
No.
Okay.
No.
I
Okay.
just posted a few of the photos. So when the lamp switches on, everything is gone. So sometimes I woke up in the morning, it was still dark. I took some photos, and when the lamp was switched off, all the effects were gone.
Okay, I'm going to read this one. This is the last photo that Paul chose.
Yes, I found this structures.
It's called Secret Signs, Secret Santa. A presence, an absence, a sign, a warning, a threat, a stamp, a trace of something long gone, a charred memory, still glowing around the edges. Who is there? What did they want? And will they come back?
Yes, Paul has written nice poems about my pictures.
Well, it's what he's talking about is the narrative that is left in the wake of this image, right? It's clearly leaving a story behind it that there's a hole in the middle of this picture and you don't know what it was. A presence and absence, a sign, a warning, a threat, still glowing around the edges, charred memory. Would you like to talk about this one, Gudrun?
Yeah, I found a lot of such kind of things in Scotland where we were visiting an old church, and in the walls there were at the pillars and everywhere were such signs which I took, but I worked a little bit with Photoshop on these images also to make it, to emphasize the whole thing.
What did you emphasize in Photoshop?
The contrast, and I also made it weaker, that you cannot see really that this is stone, because this is stone, and in the stone someone has maybe by sawing or something else he took samples or whatever. I don't know.
So something chipped out of the wall.
Yes.
Okay. And so you kind of smooth the texture of the surface.
Yes, because then you cannot see anymore that the stone structure, the very sharp grains of the stone. This one I softened.
Right. Interesting.
It tempts the imagination. It's like there's something behind there that's glowing, and what is it? That's, God, maybe it's God.
Yes, the white were somehow glowing. I also liked this effect of the white.
Yeah.
Around this square.
Yeah, it really does suggest like there's something back there. That's good.
Right? Yeah, it comes with the whole story with it. Like, and it's a black box kind of story where you just know what's happened and you kind of choose your own adventure as to what you think happened.
Some of these things had also strange forms, where you don't know why it is like this. This is just a square, but there were also some other forms like circles or yeah. Therefore, I call this series Secret Science.
Huh. Nice. And I like that you kind of helped it be a little bit more secret by softening some of the details, removing some of the details to make it even more like it's blurry, it's kind of hazy, you feel a little bit drunk, or even that center square is just kind of almost floating forward and the back is in relief again. That idea again we're talking about, like, is it really deep or is it really close to the black hole? Is it up in the sky? Is it like the monolith from 2001 Space Odyssey? Super cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to continue. We're doing great. So next up, we got Ann Evans is going to be, her things are going to be looked at by Lauren. And then Lauren, I'm still missing your picks for Ann. Did you send them somewhere?
Yeah, I just sent just now to your Instagram and to your email.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know why I sent one earlier today.
I'll double check while we're taking a look. So go ahead, Ann, and I'm same thing. I'm going to was it just the one, Ann?
No, there are 3.
Okay, hang on. Did you send them again?
I saw the one you missed. It's like a bunch of marks. You showed it accidentally.
Okay, hang on. There, that one?
No.
That's Lauren as well. That's Lauren. That's Lauren. Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That one. So, I really enjoyed looking at Lauren's feed. I mean, there is just so much in there and different styles. I like the marks, the painting ones and the collage ones, the posters, and just that moment you're there seeing it. And I've noticed that you frame down close in many of them, and I'm starting to try to do that more in my work too. But I don't know how to explain all this stuff. You guys really know how to describe things. It's just really awesome to hear everyone their ideas and everything. This has just been really great. But I'm gonna kind of contradict myself too, saying I like these abstracts as they are. I don't have to find human and landscapes in them, but then I do. But they work well. Just I'm a graphic designer, so I see these as really nice compositions. These marks are just, I mean, they're a whirl of activity, and then that dark line just kind of brings it down to earth. It's solidifies the composition, and I just saw that right away. But I mean, his whole collection is just really phenomenal. But you can go, but then I'm going to contradict in that one of the painted, not that one, the next one, this, I love that, but it looks like a pond with some koi.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, wow. But I just like the explosiveness of the color and the pattern. It's, there is power there. It's really nice, that orange, and well, it's just a really nice composition. And just the expressiveness of it. And I mean, it's just fantastic to see these things just when you're walking by, or I don't know how you explore things, but just exploring and seeing all this is just so rich. And then the other one, the middle one,
Mhm.
you know, I just really like the depth and the reflection, the little pieces of white, the black. I mean, it's just really in depth, and it really caught my eye again. You know, I guess it does have a figure type thing to it, but just the complexity underneath there, the pattern. I guess it's a window reflection with something kind of peeling off of it, but just wonderful. And just using all the design elements, you know, color, texture. Really, really enjoyed looking at these, and all of them really. It was very hard to pick, but just the randomness.
Thank you. Two things I'll just respond. One is that, yes, I do like to get really close in because I like to decontextualize. I don't want people to feel too comfortable with what they're looking at as to what size it is, whether it's a wall, whether it's a window, whatever. I like that disenfranchisement. It's, in fact, alienation.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to imbue them with. And by getting in real close, it throws that into kind of randomness.
I don't
Yeah,
know if
really-
I wouldn't, I don't know if I would use the word alienation, because that makes you feel like you're pushing the audience away. I feel it more like you're isolating or you're abstracting. You're just
Yeah.
taking it out of its context. You're not pushing anyone. You're just trying to
True
leave
enough.
it as
True
open.
enough. Yeah, bad word choice.
No,
Yeah.
I thought it was I tried to think, okay, but anyways, I just wanted to touch on that. Keep going.
Yeah. I forgot the other thing I was going to say.
Well,
I like to, I don't have to know what it is. I just
Yeah.
really love seeing it at that moment in time. And oh, it's just so rich. I mean, just really, and the isolation, I think that says it definitely.
yeah. You're freeing it from its original context, is what you're saying,
Yes.
and leaving it open to interpretation. Yeah.
It's reality, but it's your interpretation and your expression, and that's really what makes it, you know, yours.
Yeah, I want to maintain the kind of photographic, optically driven imagery. Like I want it to be real. I don't want it to be as if it were a painting. That's important to me.
That
It
it retains its mundanity. Like it remains its realness, its authenticity of where, like, you're not doing a lot of editing or post-production most of the time. It's pretty much straight.
Yes,
How you shot it,
exactly.
yeah.
They're photographs.
Yeah.
Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
All the work is done in the shooting of it, and it's already just being there as it is. It's it's a more pure, it's a kind of a purist.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I also mentioned that I tend to use Instagram as kind of a sketch pad. I don't do a lot of judging of, you know, this is a good one, this is a bad one. It's more like, geez, I haven't posted in a while, maybe I better find an image. And so it's kind of random that one day I may be off in this direction, another day that direction, and very different from an exhibit where the choices are very important. So much more spontaneous in this kind of unedited form.
Yeah,
Nice.
I agree.
Okay. Anyone, have we got everyone? Have we done everyone?
Yeah, no, you haven't got mine, but I also wanted to say that
Okay, yes.
beneath it all, I'm very interested in the social context. I'm not interested in, for argument's sake, graphics or geometrics or color explorations. I mean, those are all part of it, of course. But really what I'm interested in is that other people are expressing themselves. And I'm capturing that.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it is my expression, but it's about people's need to say, you know, P loves A, or the letter F, somebody's initials, or whatever they happen to be saying. Both the content and the way, you know, the spontaneity of their scratches and things is really what I want to bring forward. And if I can find a satisfying graphic overlay that's pleasing to the eye at the same time, then that's great. When that happens, it's great. Otherwise, you know, it's just people scratchings and stuff. But there's something else that happens when there's a kind of graphic tension. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about tension early before. I think it's like, I like how when you're talking about your photography, you're talking about making it less comfortable, decontext, like keeping people kind of off balance.
yeah,
I like that. It's like, I like that clear. It's a very clear mission I see there.
yeah.
Nice. Okay, Lauren, we're gonna look at the picture you sent for Barb. Again, it was just, I can't believe everyone had each other as their own Secret Santa.
No, it was Anna. And that I did.
And sorry, yeah. There we go. All right, take it away, Lauren.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't
wait.
see it.
I don't have it on the right. I don't have it in the right window. That's why. Here we go.
There.
Boom.
Oh, that's a recent one.
Oh, yes. I think your most recent.
Yeah.
It speaks to me in a very real way, because I posted an image a couple of weeks ago that had a similar graphic component that is not so close up, but I pulled back a little bit, managed to achieve the same kind of abstraction. What I like about this an awful lot is that it's both flat and three-dimensional at the same time. I know that this is a lamppost, that it's a cylinder, but because of the lighting, it's de-emphasized its cylindrical quality and can be read just as easily as if it's flat. So again, we've got this kind of coming and going thing. And I love typography. So seeing the G and the H, one going up and down, the other across, seeing all these other stickers with their different typefaces and styles and handwritten. Again, all those things just juxtaposing with this wall in the back that also has its peelings and its scrawlings. It all is just a big cacophony of kind of Tower of Babel. And you wonder, you know, whether one is speaking to the other and whether the one is understanding the other, and how the tower manages to get built in the midst of all of that.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so drawing the parallels, Barb was talking about the graphic qualities that she liked in Lauren's work, and now Lauren is returning the favor by appreciating the graphic qualities in Anne's work. That's kind of a neat little twinsies there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about this image, Barb? Oh, sorry, Anne.
Yeah. Well, this was last weekend. There's a neighborhood, Pilsen in Chicago, that's Latino. And this is a corner, like where there's an alley going back, and it's always full of some type of graffiti. And this pole gets, changed. And it was a great day also. But yeah, I'm always drawn to that little corner to see what's changed and stuff. And I think that red and, just it's peeling more and just layers and layers.
Yeah.
And there's, dumpsters there. There's a few things going on there. I did take some farther back, but, of the whole wall, but, this one, I like getting in closer too, but yeah, the graphics, the text and stuff, I like that also. I look for that.
I wrote here like a feast of textures. It's just a feast.
Yeah, it's pretty busy.
Right? It's like Lauren said, a cacophony, but it's like it's somehow still balanced, and the composition within the cacophony gives it enough comfort that it's not overwhelming. There's like there's some fundamentals being observed there, so it's contained, or the tension, again, Lauren, to use your term, but the tension between the cacophony and the structure of the very measured centering, like it's centered, and you've got the yellow in the center and the grayish blue in the background, like so
you have warm tones against cool tones. And that's very effective in giving it that pop. You have the black against yellow, which is also highly effective in giving it pop. And another thing I just noticed is that I can't make one word out.
Right.
In the whole thing, there's not one concise word. Or maybe there is one, but like you gotta work really hard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like disembodied letters and partial words, and as if a person can't pronounce a whole word, they can only get a grunt or a corner of the word out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, it's balanced. It's kind of a delicate balance of chaos and harmony.
Yeah.
And I do walk around the scene also and get, a few other views, but this, where it was kind of metal on the left compared to the wood part where the staples are, and the G and H too, to get that vertical line and the horizontal line there.
Nice.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, and we're right at 2 o'clock. This is beautiful. I'll open it up if there's any other things we wanted to circle back to. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a quick rundown of my notes and see if we get another 5-10 minutes of conversation. No problem. If anyone has to go right at 2, totally understand. But if people want to stick around for another 20 minutes, 15 minutes or so. So we started off with Ron on Muriel, talking about monochrome, powerful, carved in stone, lots to see, subtle texture, subtlety of color, dreamlike, and the tension. That was Lauren talking about the tension of cropping tighter. And then we continued about the forum idea of everyone starting with the same image and creating their own version of it. We talked about monochrome.
So Tim, let's not lose that. That sounds like that's a really great idea.
Yeah, actually, let's do, instead of me going over things, let's just talk about that a little bit. Let's just, how do you think that would work best, or what would the variations on that be? What do you think? Like, because some people are like Lauren are straight out of the camera, so you're just going to send Lauren an image and he's just going to send you the same image back.
No, that's not true, Jeff.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You'd take a very specific tight crop of that image.
No, I mean, what appears to be straight out of the camera
Okay.
has been manipulated.
Okay.
I may turn my blacks into cool blacks to contrast against warmer things.
Okay.
I may bring up, like in this particular case, I'm not saying I would, but I may tone down the yellow,
right,
to make it more like this, the pale blue. I might. It still looks as if it hasn't been manipulated, but I haven't manipulated the components of it or the outlines and that part. But in terms of intensities of color and bringing texture into the whites and things, I do a lot of work on them.
Okay, yeah, that's good point,
Tim. So in terms of like how this might work, it might be sort of like you have to have a starting image. So step one is choosing the starting image, and then the second one is people take that starting image and then do what they do, and then we go over them, right? We review them. But that first step is, you know, you could just pick an image, or another possibility might be that we all submit. Not everybody necessarily has to, but people that are interested could submit images, and there might be a collection, and then we can sort of, I don't know, vote on it and say, and maybe there would be more than one. Maybe we pick this one for one session, and then pick, you know, number two for some future session.
Yeah,
so that
I like
you
that.
have you know, like you have a kind of collection, so that the burden's not entirely on you. You know, that way.
Well, I mean, I have the thing that came to mind, the first image that came to mind is, there's a wall in Medellin in Colombia that every time I was there, I would go to it, similar to what Anne was talking about, the same area she goes back to. And it's a wall that's usually just covered in posters over posters over posters, mixed with graffiti or whatever. But sometimes I would step back and take like a high-res picture of the whole thing and then go in and crop out the little bits. So I'm thinking whatever the image you start with, it would have to be, it's not something off of Instagram, but we would send it around, or I would put it on Google Drive. Everyone can download like a high-res version of something with lots of details across it, like a lot of real estate and a lot of information. And then everyone is going to take the information that they want and adjust the color, texture, or whatever in their own.
That sounds great. Yeah, that sounds, yeah, if you have something like that looks
Well,
like
we could I like the idea of opening it up. If you think you have an image that would suit this kind of project, then yeah, by all means, we can have a few suggestions. Maybe that's something we do over the next, you know, over the holidays, and for the next one, we have plenty of time. I'm not going to rush to do the next one. It's a busy time. So, but yeah, that's something for sure.
Well, if you already have a good candidate, you know, if this is something maybe you've thought about already.
But that's just the first one that popped to mind. I'm sure everyone, if they went looking for high res, you know, photos in that vein, would find a couple. So I'm open. I'm happy.
Well, maybe we start with yours, and then that might spur people to come up with other ideas for.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll take a look and show like a low res. I'll put a low res in the group, and then we can start from there. Cool. Yeah, I like that. I also, and the other idea we had from Nirvana was the series idea of choosing another person's profile and finding a theme of 5 photos within the same theme, like doing curation on someone else's page, and that being maybe an easier, less emotionally charged process than doing it on your own. You know, doing your own curation. I find it really hard.
Yeah.
So, and I like the idea of seeing someone's seeing someone's process with their, because again today, so the two things I thought to talk about was seeing all the combinations of people. Of course, I put everyone together, so you got your own Secret Santa. But I really like the neat connections that were apparent in the pictures that were chosen, the things we noticed, and the things that the people, the photographer's eye is clear in what they talk about and notice in what they choose, and then what is noticed about their photography. Anyways, I thought there was a neat commonality there. The other thing was, I think it was Anne at the end was saying that she just likes hearing people talk about photography and how, like, I always come back to one of the reasons I love about this group is hearing how people describe what they see in a picture, and hearing so many different people talk about it in different ways. It's helped me immeasurably just to have my dictionary of photography terms and ways to see has directly influenced my photography, but also how I describe it, how I'm able to express how I interpret or my process when I'm looking at a photo or whatever. So I don't know, maybe we could talk a little bit about that before we finish off, like how
just one thing, Tim, I wanted to mention, if we are going to choose like 5 images, I suggest that people put them all into a single image so that instead of going back and forth, you could see all 5 like beside each other.
Yeah.
Or, you know, in a cube or something, maybe make it 4 so it'll fit the frame a little better.
Maybe we assign some mock-ups from Nirvana and you just put them all on a wall in a mock-up, like, you know, this is the theme for this room.
Might get a little like small.
Yeah, you're right.
That way. But
I like that idea of having them all on one.
Because otherwise, like, we're going to end up doing so much referencing and going here and going there and not even be able to see them together. And I think
no, you're right. If they're being chosen as a series, then that's they should be seen as a series too. Yeah.
Although if we can put together a slideshow so that you can, it's just one file, but you just can click the different images.
And Alan had talked about that previously too, or someone talked about that, doing like a little slideshow. I mean, now it's easier than ever on Instagram to put a reel together, like put images together and a slideshow. Like, it's very straightforward, and we can maybe look at a little YouTube explainer video for how to do that for anyone who's not experienced with it, but how to make a reel, and then everyone just makes a reel for a curated reel, and then that's what we show.
Are you gonna? Would you assign, like, you get?
Yeah, I was thinking the similar thing, like a Secret Santa thing, like it's a random assignment of a profile, and then I like the surprise of not knowing who's your person, and I like the surprise of it. Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
These are fun exercises.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep my ears out while we're talking. Like, okay, how can we?
When I did my last show, Tim, I had 200 small images made, and asked a couple of different friends, to come by, have a look at them, and make some choices for me. And it was so incredible how different people would pick out a group.
Yeah, I was one of those people. You had me do the same exercise. It was fascinating.
Right. And the different takes that they had on it, and what appealed to them, or how they put things together.
Yeah, I think that's it's a deeper version of the Secret Santa, where you're really the curation of the 5 that you choose becomes more connected. I really like that. And like we said with Muriel, that the interpretation of the style or of that theme and how they approach that theme becomes interesting over the course of, we had a good discussion about that. All right. The last thing before we finish to touch back on, and the thing that I'm most excited about, is the idea of like meeting in person I mean, Paris would probably be the top of the list. But what do people, what, if we had to just brainstorm some of the things that would need to be done, or how we'd go about doing that, what do people think about that? Just as a dream scenario, but if we're even going to make it possibly real, what would we do?
Contact a travel agent.
Mm-hmm.
Find a nice warm place that seems fairly accessible to everyone.
Right.
And book a hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although-
it sounds fantastic.
Although, while we were talking, my wife is in another part of the room, and she's like, "I'll go to Paris."
Yeah. It's a pretty easy sell, I think. Especially if it's in a warm time of the year,
Yeah.
Are there any other
Okay,
places?
but one thing I'd have to say about Paris is you do not want to go anywhere near Paris next year during the Olympics.
Right.
Here.
Paris Olympics.
In summer, in the Tour de France, you don't want to.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's certain times of the year you just can't go there.
Yeah, I'm sure Muriel would have some recommendations there.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put this out there again, just as like a topic is, are there other places in the world you'd say are like, okay, if we were going to meet somewhere?
Toronto. I say Toronto.
I mean, I don't want to be selfish, but Lauren and I are already here. There's two
Oh.
already. And it's a great city. But yeah, I would be
We would host that. We would be the tour guides.
Oh, I would love it. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Well, I
also
don't know how
thinking,
realistic this is, but in any case,
it's fun to
to
imagine,
daydream about.
right?
And who knows?
I have to say I belong to a photography book club, a small group of women, where we gave up reading books and just talked to each other, as many book clubs go. And in April, we're going to meet in Chicago.
Oh,
They all live on the East Coast. I live on the West Coast. And we decided Chicago was in the middle because it was architecturally just filled with
Yeah,
craziness that we would all enjoy.
that was in my mind too. Chicago is like, I think, the most beautiful American city.
Yeah.
Nice.
oh, that'd be
And
great.
it's
I'd
not
love
too
it.
far away from the Toronto folks, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
can
sure.
take
I mean, I was also thinking Albuquerque because Alan and Wendy are already there. I feel like it's warm, it's dry heat. Go there, cool time of year, but that would be like the landscape there would just, and just that color scheme that we saw with Ron, with what's his name? Alan, but the gentleman who passed away, Dupuis or
Oh yeah, the first guy that passed away. But
Yeah.
all those dumpsters, I would
right,
love
and
to.
those crisp blue skies. Anyways, that would be on my list too. We can have a lot of fun dreaming that up. But wouldn't it be great to see each other and I just have a dream of all of us with our cameras just walking around and someone seeing something. Everyone goes, "Oh, what do you see there?" And like everyone, that would be the next level, is giving the same object and then everyone taking a picture of that object and then process. That would be a whole other level of assignment. But we could have all kinds of fun assignments and just have a blast. I think I'm gonna dream. I'm gonna dream about it. We'll see. Talk to my grants people.
Right.
Talk to Lauren about my grants. All right. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen there. All right. Well, I think we're gonna conclude for today.
Oh, just one more thing.
Yeah.
I put into the comments a link to Paul's book.
Oh,
Oh, great.
perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Yes. Thank
Mhm.
you. I will include that in the notes too for the YouTube. Check the comments below. Check the.
I just want to say too, there's a couple people that presented today that I did not have an Instagram connection with. And I've looked at some of that work. So if you see a lot of likes, I'm not a stalker or anything like that.
No.
I just think it was just
Oh.
really great to be able to connect with some people that I didn't have connections with before.
yeah.
So,
Right.
you know, and
Yes.
then
Mhm.
we'll
That's what we're
continue to
all about.
look, but yeah,
That's what we're-
this is a really wonderful, you know, there's a lot of talent in this mix
and
of
a lot
people.
of insight, a lot of experience in different areas, you know, like I find it, every time new things.
And I have no one to talk to about this with, you know, that's the thing. And it's just so inspiring, because I'm excited about this whole abstract thing, and it's hard to explain to people. And, you know, my favorite alley with texture was just whitewashed the other day. I'm like, oh, but I still like it. You know, there were some pigeons there, so but I've been
It'll
Well,
come
no,
back,
think
and
of it as it's been whitewashed for a new palette that they're going to start all over again.
that's right.
yeah, right. They'll be, you know,
It
that's
won't
just-
take long.
Encouragement.
Right. But other people don't understand the heartbreak of like, they changed that dumpster. Now I just, you know, it was there last week and I go back and they've switched it. Or all kinds of things. Yeah. That's the thing that people keep saying. Hey man, I found my people there. Oh yeah. I found the people I can talk to, all this kind of rare, specific geek out photography stuff. And so, that's what we're here for. Even if it's, you know, 6 of us, that's great. By the end, that's great.
Absolutely.
but I'm just sad I miss them. You know, I've been missing them this summer just for, you know, I'm busy or whatever. It just doesn't work out. So, oh, yay.
Nice. Well, we're glad to have you. Happy to have
Thank you.
everyone here. And we'll do another one in, you know, it's usually 3 or 4 weeks. We'll get something going again. And but in the meantime, Merry Christmas, everyone, or whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah, Lauren, and otherwise, like, enjoy. Take lots of great abstract photos for your Christmas festivities. And thanks so much.
Great.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank
See
you.
you all
And
next
time.
Happy
You're
New
welcome.
Year to you.
Thank you. Oh, and thanks, Gudrun and Ron, for your very kind PayPal donation. You each covered a month for me. That was great. So I appreciate that. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
don't
you,
feel
everyone.
free to
Thank
ask
you.
for more when you need more.
I will. Thank you. Thank you.
And Tim, thank you so much for all your organization and your moderating and all of it. It's really holding us together. You're the glue that keeps us together.
It's my pleasure, man. It's my pleasure. I get so much out of it too. Like, it's not a selfish, you know, it's not it's not hard work. It's easy work when you have this to look forward to, right?
Yeah.
Nice. All right, everyone.
Okay.
Enjoy your afternoon
Bye-bye.
or wherever you are.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye.